Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to this video. So in the last video we saw how to go about designing our Mapreduce programs, and it's time to apply that knowledge. In this video I'll be giving you one assignment which will have some design problems, and you're supposed to design Mapreduce programs for it. So let's get started with the challenge. Now in this assignment you get 8 problems to solve. First 2 are already solved for you, so you're supposed to solve 6 problems in this particular assignment. So let's get going. So in this case you are getting a wire transfer log for a bank called as Bank of Mamazon. So there is a bank called Bank of Mamazon, and what you get is a log for that particular file or log for that particular bank for 2014. Now this particular log is a log for all the transactions that took place in 2014. So if you look at the log file, what you see is that the first column is date, the second column is the customer, that's let's say Microsoft or Facebook in this case, the third is an employee, fourth field is the city, and fifth field is the value. So this file is 600 MB. So we don't know how many transactions are there. All we know is it is 600 MB file. Now with this 600 MB file, each record has 5 entries. That is date, customer, the person who's receiving the money, the city in which the customer has, or the receiver, the guy who's receiving has an account, and the amount. Now this is a log file with 600 MB of data. We don't know how much data is there. All we know is that the structure of the data is this. Now just to make it clear, whether a table has 2 records or 20,000 records, our SQL queries don't change. Very similarly, whether this particular assignment shows 2 records or 20,000 records, the structure is important and your logic should remain the same. So there are 8 problems to be solved. So let's look at the first problem. Does Mamazon allow transfers to SFO? So basically you're supposed to write pseudocode for 8 Mapreduce programs. The first Mapreduce program is, does Mamazon allow transfer to SFO? So just to give you a hint, now in this case we are only talking of whether SFO is in the list of cities or not. We are not talking of the amount transferred or the number of transactions done. So this is a perfect candidate where I don't need, or we don't need, a reducer at all. We are perfectly okay in just having the mapper. So the second assignment is, how many transactions did Facebook do in February? So in the month of February, how many transactions did Facebook perform? The third is, show all the transactions that were above $5,000. So let's look at all the transactions, or show all the transactions that were above $5,000. The fourth assignment is, show all the customers who gave business more than $1 million in 2014. Fifth is, what is the average size of transaction given by Microsoft? So for example, 5,000, 10,000 and 3,000 were 3 transactions given by Microsoft. So that's 18,000 divided by 3, that's 6,000. So just to quickly summarize, so far you're supposed to write pseudocode for 5 problems so far. The first problem is, we have to find out, looking at the data, does Mamazon allow transfer to San Francisco or not? The second problem is, extract all the transactions that were done by Facebook in the month of February. The third is, show all the transactions that were done which were above $5,000. The fourth is, show all the customers who gave business more than $1 million in 2014. Fifth, what is the average size of transaction given by Microsoft in 2014? So that means sum of all the transactions divided by number of transactions. Now in the sixth one, what is expected is that you've come up with a fifth one which has absolutely all the average or complete average. And once you show that, let's say as somebody validating your output, I look at that and say, okay, you've done a great job, but the network traffic is very, very high. So in sixth one, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to optimize the solution of fifth one in such a way that the network traffic is reduced. A small hint would be try to fit in a combiner. In the seventh one, we are talking of give us the month-wise revenue for Mamazon, where each month should be a separate output file. So what we are looking for is monthly revenue for Mamazon, where each month should be a separate output file. So what we are expecting is, let's say 12 output files. Output file 1 would have consolidation for Jan, output file 2 for Feb, output 3 for March, output 4 for April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that is problem number 7. Problem number 8 is give us city-wise transfers assuming Mamazon operates in 64 cities. So what we are really looking for is Mamazon operates in 64 cities and we want city-wise transfers, and the condition here is for each and every city we need a separate output file. We need a separate output file for each and every city. So these are the 8 problems that you're supposed to solve. Here we'll be seeing the solution to first 2 and the format of how you're supposed to give the solutions. And in the next video, we will look at the solutions. So you're supposed to look at this video and stop, complete the solutions, and then look for the next video. Don't go to the next video till you have solved the problems yourself. And this is basically a design exercise for Mapreduce. It's a design exercise for Mapreduce. Now let's look at the solutions. So let's say in here we have the records. In this case, we've taken 2 records, and this would be basically up to 600 MB. So here we are just taking any 2 records. Now number of mappers, if the file is 600 MB, we would be looking at anywhere around 5 blocks, 128 MB each. There'll be 5 blocks, so there'll be 5 mappers. We will not be able to put all the 5 mappers, so I've just taken any 2 mappers. It's just for the explanation. You could put all 5 mappers, but we don't have space. You can just show it in one mapper. It's perfectly okay, because the logic for mapper or reducer is going to remain absolutely same. So let's say our input is mapper 1 would, let's say, take one of the record. So it is date, Microsoft, John, SFO, $6,000. In our mapper, we are first going to tokenize it based on spaces. So let's say date space. So that's date will be as 1 token. Microsoft will be 2nd token. John will be 3rd token. SFO will be 4th token, and $6,000 will be 5th token. So after we've tokenized the whole thing, we will basically extract the city information, because this program we are only concerned about the city. So if city is equal to San Francisco, what output we want is SFO, 1. Let's just say SFO, 1 or SFO, 2. Doesn't really matter. Like this, we will first kind of extract SFO from everywhere. Wherever we find SFO, we can exit the program, and at the end, we can figure out if SFO was there or not there. Simple as that. In this case, we don't really need a reducer, because our question is very simple. Does Mamazon allow transfer to SFO? Yes or no? The next is, how many transactions did Facebook do in February? So the second problem is, so on the same data, problem number 1 was, or report number 1 that you were supposed to generate for your manager was, does Mamazon allow transfer to SFO? Report number 2 is, how many transactions did Facebook do in the month of February? Again, you take input, you tokenize it. So let's say there are 5 tokens for each record. Here we are interested in extracting transaction date and the from account. Once we do that, we will put an if condition in the mapper which says, if from account is Facebook and the transaction date is within February, then write the output. So let's say in first case we'll have nothing to write. In this case we'll have February, 1. Like this we'll bring up all the Februaries together, and in the reducer we will simply add everything up. And in the reducer, after consolidation, what we get is, let's say in February we did 90 transactions or 100 transactions. That is how you are supposed to give solution for the remaining 6. So we've seen first 2. In the first case we don't need a reducer. In the second case we do need a reducer. Like this we are supposed to solve 8 problems. We are supposed to look at all transactions that are above $5,000. That's the third one. So we want to see all the transactions that were above $5,000. Fourth is show all the customers who gave business more than $1 million in 2014. So here we are interested in, let's say, looking at high value customers. In this case, Microsoft and Facebook would qualify as customers. What is the average size of transaction given by Microsoft? So fifth one is that, and sixth one is an optimization of that. So you achieve fifth one, and in sixth one you're supposed to show how you are going to optimize it by reducing the network traffic. In the seventh one, you're supposed to give month-wise revenue of Amazon. So each month should be a separate output file, and the output should look like Jan and the value, in the next file Feb and the value, and so on and so forth. In the eighth one, you will basically give city-wise transfers for each and every city. And technically what you're supposed to answer is yes, what is the input to the mapper? What process is going to be done in the mapper? What will be the output of the mapper? What will be input to the reducer? What will be the process that reducer has to go through? And what will be the output of the reducer? And you're supposed to solve this 6. You will get this document along with your course material, and you can download this and fill this document and validate the answers in the next video. So these are the 6 problems you will solve, and in the next video you'll have solution for the remaining 6 problems and a detailed explanation of each and every problem. So let's go ahead and solve the problems.